Hello there and a warm welcome to the program People's Imbizo, brought to you by African News Network. Thank you for joining us. Today we're discussing violence against women. We're coming to you from Naledi in Soweto. There are women here who fell victims to in the hands of people that they trusted, men that they thought they loved. We're here to find out why this is happening still in our society. You at home are welcome to join in the conversation. The hashtag to use is People's Imbizo, or you can use @ANN7TV. I have a panel with me. I'll introduce them to you in a few minutes. We also have an audience who will be joining in the conversation in a few minutes if they have any comments or if they have any stories that they want to share with us. To my immediate left, Commissioner Nomasonto Mazibuko from the Commission for Gender Equality is joining us in the panel. Ma'am, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
To her immediate left, we have Marita Ground from Community Safety, the Executive Director at Victim Empowerment. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
Very long title. I hope I got it right. I think I did.
You did.
Yes. And of course, to your immediate left, we have with us that'll be George Basopane from Naledi Councillor. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Good afternoon.
And from the South African Police Service, Station Commander, we have here in Naledi, that's Andre Scriven. Commander, thank you for joining us.
Good day and afternoon to everybody.
Commissioner Nomasonto Mazibuko, there's a Commissioner for Gender Equality. Why do you think, I think in my intro I mentioned that we have holidays like 16 days of activism that, that we try to celebrate, or rather conscientize the community why it is important to, look out for women and children, people that are weak in our society, and be able to protect them. That doesn't seem to be helping. Why do you think we're still finding ourselves in this situation in South Africa where we are right at the top when it comes to violence against women?
Yes, I would say, let me go with your word to say, why is it not working? Firstly, we are human. Be it a man, be it a woman, be it a girl child, be it a boy child. We are all human. As we become human, we become families. From families, there comes a community. It takes a community to build a village. And as you grow as a little child, as you have seen the little children here, you grow to be a teenager. As soon as you get to be a teenager, you've got your sensory emotions coming up. Then we get a boy, a young man, and a young woman who will come together. Gender-based violence is one thing that is very critical to everybody, and it happens every day. When you hit a person with a fist, that's the first step. It goes further to 2 fists, goes further to a kick and a vice. So that's gender violence. And it happens between 2 people that are coming together by one word, love. Love doesn't do that.
Isn't that the irony of all this? People come together in the name of love, but so much violence, so much hatred.
That's where I'm coming to say, if you love a person, you will not kick. You will not even put. And the people, we're talking of 3 issues or 3 verbs or nouns in South Africa, which is rights, democracy, and freedom. These 3 words guide us where we should go. And there is one word that governs and that brings us together always. Ubuntu, butu. Bukai butu ba gago sentse o shapa motho or o ratanang le ena. This week is the Children's Week. Why would a person go to a nursery school or a crèche with a quantum, take all those children and go away? Where are our whistles? We come from a culture where we would blow a whistle, everybody will move out. We come from a culture where a man would be told, when you get a partner, you are told, this is Nomasonto to the station commander. If you don't agree, part ways. So we see now people don't slap us, don't kick us only, now they kill us. They don't kill us only, now they ban us.
Councillor Mazibuko speaks of, us being able to be whistleblowers in the community, but we've also heard of victims not being believed as soon as they go to a police station. I'll come to you, Commander, with regards to that question. Why do you think society is not very welcoming when it comes to a victim wanting to speak out. Do you think perhaps we have a lot of people who then endure these relationships or this violence that happens in their lives because they feel that they're not going to be believed? Is it because we live in such a patriarchal society?
Absolutely. You've touched on the issue of why would it be that the victim stays within the relationship. And it is because we as society have started to stigmatize the victim. Why didn't she leave earlier? Why couldn't she see that this is going to happen? When she dated him, it was nice because they were driving in a car. Those are the comments that's not just coming from your inner circle in the family, but those are the comments that are coming from the community. Yes. So even before I have the strength to go to a police station, I've already been harassed and secondary victimized by my inner circle. The commissioner made reference to the fact that we have great laws and regulations within South Africa, but what I would love us to do as a society is to start taking those and let it become our weapons. Because right now we're at war with ourselves. We're at war with ourselves because when you hurt a woman, you're hurting a mother of children. When you hurt children, you're hurting our future. Gender-based violence has put South Africa as a whole at war with itself. And as soon as we break down the barriers for victims to feel empowered, to feel believed and trusted until they have been proven otherwise, we won't have the ability to win this war.
Right, so our attitudes should change. Initially, when a victim comes with their story, believe them first and then investigate and see what's going on going forward. I want to come to you, Councillor. George, talk to us about the victims that you have counselled. What have you learned from them? What is happening in the society?
Yeah, thank you, Matt. It's very, very difficult, like being the first citizen of the ward. Each and every incident that it's brutally happens in your eyes in the community, you are the first person to be involved or to be informed. For instance, the first incident that occurred around April on the 5th, I went there personally. It was so very, very painful, especially being a man, to observe the brutal murder that is taking place in our society. But the other challenge, apart from these observations, if you check in the whole wards, the problem is around the service delivery. Grass cutting on its own is problematic. Even the police, sometimes very difficult for them to do their policing during the day, even during the evening. So, but the other thing, we need to go back to the basics. Like, for instance, talking about the moral regeneration movement as a key to our society, like the role that need to be played by the FPOs in reviving the spirit of Ubuntu from our society. So must be able to combat this evil disease that is taking place in our world. But at the same time, must also make sure that we go back to the basics. In the 80s, each and every area in Soweto, there were progressive structures like street committees, for instance. But at the same time, we need to revive Know Your Neighborhood campaign, for instance. But if you check, for instance, in most of the houses, the tenants, we don't know the whereabouts of a tenant. It's also important for each and every family to make sure, if you're being a landlord, you must know your tenancy, what type of the work he's doing. For instance, somebody can come into a household being a tenant, but not knowing very well what are the actual work that is doing on a daily basis. But at the same time, must also make sure that each and every community member is involved in the process of public safety and also be involved in community policing forum. So must be able to disseminate information from all the angles. If you make sure that, for instance, in each and every wards, there are various entries in the wards, you make sure that each and every entry into the ward, there are safety patrollers that will make sure anybody coming to our ward, we are accessible as a community to know who's this person is coming to our ward. I think that there might be a possible solution. But apart from that, we must also make sure that we revive what we call it a nucleus of the family. If you check in most of the families, most of the families are destroyed because we are no longer discussing as a mother and fathers. In the evening, for instance, you'll find the kids are sitting the other side of the room, the mother and the father are sitting in the dining room. But if we can revive that nucleus of the family, we must be able to
all
communicate.
The mother and father speaking to each other, because perhaps they're probably not even talking to each other. We see a lot of that happening. I love the point that you raised about, you know, all of this starting at home, teaching our children morals and having them grow up with those values so they know how to treat each other in the community. I want to come to you, Commander Scriven. We often hear that the criminal justice system is failing the victims and even failing the community. A lot of cases that are reported to the police, we have most of these suspects, because they're probably not convicted at this point, coming back into society, they're out on bail. Most of these people that commit these crimes are actually, you know, they have been in the criminal justice system before. They have been arrested. They come out and they do the same thing, or they're out on bail. What needs to happen going forward?
Thank you. Let me first start and say what my colleague George has raised here is a very much important point, because we, in the past, without blaming anybody, maybe this unfortunate incident that is currently in the spotlight is going to wake people up. In the past, it appeared that this is a police matter. Everything must be dealt by the police alone. There's a beautiful act, as my sister was saying, called the Domestic Violence Act. We are not blaming anybody here. We are here to look for solutions. It's also true, it's a male-dominated society. We need a change of attitude. That might be one of the reasons when a person wants to come, for example, to our client service center to open a case. Somebody said that she was already victimized, traumatized by the family because it's a shame on the family. Let me put it straight to everybody. Domestic violence and rape is not a shame. You have to come forward and report it. Yesterday, I listened to a woman, she's 70 years old. And she was raped when she was very young. And she told the whole story, how she was treated and how she felt and how she secondary traumatized. But she decided to take a stand. And as males, you know, we are trying to shift the blame. We are human beings, as we are saying. This lady was saying, and it's not the first one, a woman, any woman has the right to dress the way that they want to dress. And they have to be respected.
On that. That'll be a topic for another show.
No?
But it's interesting that you've brought that up, because it appears that's the scapegoat for men to say, look, if you're going to dress that way, then you're going to entice us, and we're going to want to approach you in a certain manner. But is that really an excuse or a reason why a man should do that?
Unfortunately, some perpetrators will use it. One of the reasons why you will see that cases are withdrawn, unfortunately, not all the cases that people report to the police station is true. You might find that a lady was out with a boyfriend, and she came back late. She's afraid of what her parents are going to say, and now she's coming to the police station to open a case. We open the case. At court, she withdraw the case. I'm sure that you might be aware that we have a specialized unit in the police that investigate only these kind of cases.
Okay. Can you just give us the figures? How would you compare the two cases that you find to be untrue that are then withdrawn, and what action do you take to against people that report false crimes, and against cases that are actually true where there's a victim that has been violated?
Okay. Let me first make it clear: no case can be withdrawn at a police station. We don't have that powers. A case is only withdrawn after it goes to court.
Right. So it's now the state against the suspect. Yes. It's no longer the person who is reported.
Yeah. And at this stage, there is no legislation in place. I'm talking specifically about rape and domestic violence and those kind of cases. For us to act, it's the victim's right to decide what to do. But that is still not an excuse. Any person that comes to my police station or any other police station must be believed, must be interviewed by a dedicated professional person with empathy, not in the client service center. There must be a dedicated room where that person's got privacy and be taken away from all other people on their own. Right. We at Naledi police station, we do have a trauma center, as many other police stations have. A trauma center is where you normally counsel people, victims, where we take statements of victims.
Right.
So privacy is of the utmost.
And just to take you back, Commander, with the cases that have brought a lot of attention here in Naledi, how far are you with those cases?
One of the murder cases is going to appear, the suspect is going to appear in court on the 2nd.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, and the other one is going to appear on the 7th.
Right.
So we made a breakthrough there, but people still feel the pain.
Yeah, of course. Let's just go to the audience to see if there's anyone who wants to share their story with us, or if they have any comment or any questions.
My name is Motsama Idiale. I'm from Ward 21. The other thing that I think maybe it might solve the problem is that we have some men forums in our area, but they are not working up to standard, because we as men, we have to stand against this and combine. Sometimes you need to call a meeting whereby we only men, we discuss just things, because at the end of the day, those are the things that are affecting us. If you're moving around on the street and then you meet a child, and then the children are also afraid of us. So the other thing that I wanted to say is that even we, the landlords, we've got the tenants that are renting in our yards. You don't know that person, where does he comes from. I've got 7 shacks in my yard. So the best thing for us, in order to regulate the illegal immigration of people, that one I'm going to state it clear. There are so many people who are illegal in our country, and you won't find them during the day like this. But come at night, you meet them, and those people, they're moving in groups, 6 and 6, and they're talking in language that you don't understand. So we are requesting our police officers to monitor our areas, to monitor the schools. Immediately after the schools have gone off, they must monitor those schools, and even the community at large. When you are staying next to the school, you must be very observant. Yeah, you must just go out and look for the children, just to watch what is happening outside. Because if you sit inside the yard and not do nothing about such things, these things are going to come back at us, and they will hunt us. And the other thing is that I was just requesting to our police officers to also monitor the shebins. We've got a shebin in our area, but I'm not going to mention it. Mr. Strubeck knows it, and he knows me too. We have been complaining about that shebin. It operates 24/7. You understand? So those are the kind of areas where you'll find criminals are hiding. Yeah, so it's useless for us, because sometimes we volunteer to patrol. But at the end of the day, when you patrol and find that the shebin is operating and people are coming out there round about 6 o'clock in the morning, how are the people supposed to go to work? Thank you.
We need to come back to I appreciate you saying that, sir. I really do appreciate you saying that. But we need to come back to the topic at hand. Does this have anything to do with gender-based violence, or are you talking of just criminality in general in this community?
It's criminality, including gender-based. Because, for an example, as a community, I won't have the guts to attack maybe one of my neighbors here. But you know what? I can employ someone who doesn't have the right papers here in South Africa to go and attack someone.
So your belief, sir, is that because the topic we're discussing is gender-based violence, particularly against women, that it is mostly foreigners that are killing and abusing women in this community and in this country?
Yeah, because up to so far, the incident that has happened now recently, we have found that these people, they were coming from Lesotho. I'm not trying to be maybe against the people who are coming from outside. Some are coming with serious issues. They are coming to run their businesses. What I'm saying is that there must be a police. They must be involved in regulating such people.
Okay, and so what happens to South Africans that are abusing and killing their women?
They are also included.
Oh, okay.
We are also included, because I might have
also taking that responsibility.
Yes, we have to take the responsibility. That is why I've started to mention that the men, South African men, we need to stand up now, because these things, it happens, it's done by men, isn't it? You won't find a place whereby they say women have attacked another woman. No. That is why I say these men's forums, they must stand up. We need to come down and come up with a solution.
My name is Chokozani Shoba, Safety and Security of COSAS. I'm from this ward, Kabelo Moralo. My issue is that some of the kids, they know this rapist, but they can't identify them. When they identify them, they'll be followed in their houses. They'll be threatened. You know, we're thinking that some of the police are working with the thugs. Many of our community members who are here, they know those people and they can identify them, but they are afraid to speak their views because they don't know what's gonna happen after identifying those culprits. You know, I'm pleading with the Naledi station that they must stop working with those thugs. Many kids, they come to us as leaders of COSAS, telling us the issues that are facing their community, those rapists, those people who are doing criminality in their community. But they can't view out their points because they are afraid of what is going to happen after I went into that police station and reported that case.
The issue of victimization having been brought up, I hope you're jotting that down, and then we'll come back and discuss that as well.
Desmond Lesaumako, a member of Youth Crime Prevention Desk, Naledi Youth Crime Prevention Desk. We are a substructure under CPF. We work with Department of Community Safety. When it comes to gender-based violence, we have, let me start by saying that mostly people are ignorant, especially in our communities. We have been doing campaigns, awareness via gender-based and violence, and you get lack of commitment from the community. But when such things happened, then people start waking up and marching and doing all those stuff. This shows high level of ignorance from the community as a whole. We work closely with the police doing such campaigns and all those stuff as Youth Crime Prevention Desk. There's a saying that prevention is better than cure, because when we start these campaigns, we do them we do them in case of making sure that such things don't happen, especially in our communities.
My concern is one. Guys like men in our community, they some of them, they are perfectly gentlemen, some are not. They'll like to comment. They have these comments that they do. So I believe that it starts there, you know. Like for instance, when you pass by, they'll go like and stuff, which for me it's not good for a gentleman to say such to a lady. So they need to start from there, you know, because it grows from being emotionally abused, and now you go from physical to physical, and then you start, you know, you have a lot of emotions running, right. You know, so you are abused emotionally, you are abused financially, you are abused sexually, you know, and it ends up by the guy now, he thinks now he owns you. You understand? So I think it's from them, you know, from Kamuntu, from where you stay, from home, you know. And also when we go to the police stations, you get a protection order from the courts. When you get there, police they're like at home, you know, and you die having the protection order. So what does the protection order do? You understand? Yeah. So they need to have laws in place for protection order. But they must be hard. You know, protection order is considered as something serious. If we evaluate it, then maybe they should give you more 5 years or something, not to so they need to work on that as well.
I hope you don't mind me asking, are you speaking from personal experience?
No, actually, but I have close, you know, people who've been abused before.
These cases are prevalent, and I'm sure we all know someone who's been through this. Thank you so much for sharing the story with us. Certainly appreciate it. Let's just have one more person from the audience.
My name is Lerato. I reside in Ward 20. I will not go to what has been said already. I will try and come up with a solution with what I see personally. To say a lot of times we find that attention is given to girl child and then neglecting the boy child, because the problem starts from when they are young. And having taken out some of the programs in schools, it has left a void of certain things that are not being regulated. You know, the morality, you know, teaching a child how to be responsible, teaching a child how to respect the next person and the environment within them, teaching a child that sharing is caring, hence Ubuntu. You know, so school is very important, that there must be programs that deal with certain things so that we can alleviate the problem as and when the child grows. Because I'm raising a boy child. I try by all means to make him understand that a woman is a weak species compared to him. So even when he's playing outside and he's being victimized by girls, he would come back crying, say, "Mommy, they're doing this to me." And I would tell him, do not hit a girl, because you are going to injure them, because of you've got more strength than they do. So if they start being not nice to you, remove yourself from them. Go and play with other boys. So I think it is very, very important that we as women take men as men. You know, the equality is the equality in terms of the work, and there's so many things that we can be equal with. But when it comes to physical strength, we can never be equal. Hence, the men feel the need for them to express that we are stronger than you, which is a fact.
Okay. Well, thank you for teaching your son that. We certainly appreciate it. I wish we could have more of that. And also, you know, the saying that, you know, you should be raising men, not boys. You start teaching them from a young age how to be men. I just want to come back to you. Everyone has a question that I'd like for them to answer, but I want to come back to Commissioner Masibuko. What this lady raised is very important, that perhaps sometimes in schools we neglect taking care of the emotional side of boys, and maybe they don't have that emotional outlet. That's why they become, should we say, violent when they grow up, and they don't know how to express themselves in a proper way. Would you say this is something that's happening?
One, let me say that we are equal. Let's not talk of strength, because we have seen that there are weak men, there are strong women. We are equal. That's why I started to say we all have rights. We all have freedom. The only thing that I would like to stress today is respect for one another. Gender-based violence goes with respect, with love. Yes, I think the programs at the schools should be brought together with the teachings at home. I would like us to go back to say, how do we occupy young men and young women from church, from the community? Let's go and have dances together. Let's go, and as boys are playing rugby, we see that we have now got rugby for girls, soccer for girls, soccer for boys. The issue is that let's come together and have a conversation. If you love me, intimate partners have killed women. So let's not divert. Let's talk of women who were killed by intimate partners. What is the solution? If you don't love me anymore, walk away. Walk away. And if this man hits you once as women, go away, because he'll start with a fist. Come, I say it's a fist, it's a kick, it's a choke. Then he goes for a knife. When they go to the station commander, they say, she stabbed first. And he'll show you his fingers that you just tried to kill him first. But all I'm saying, people who love one another should not end up the other one being killed and silence.
And on that note, we have to take a very short break. This is People's Imbizo, brought to you by ANN7. Thank you for watching the program. Do stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes. After the program, we'll talk about the issue of victimization. How do they feel safe? How do we empower victims, particularly women that are attacked by their intimate partners? Intimate femicide, that is what it is called. And I'll also be happy to share with you my personal story regarding this particular case. Stay tuned.